32-inch 4K monitors. You've heard plenty about those in the past year. We've talked so much about OLEDs with this size and resolution, it might throw you off to talk about an IPS monitor instead. Hey, I'm Nicholas from Ratings.com. Today we're going to take a look at the Samsung Odyssey G70D, also known as the S32DG70. It came out this year, replacing the G70B from 2022. It has many of the same specs as the old model, like the 32-inch 4K screen with an IPS panel and 144Hz refresh rate. This means it competes against other monitors with similar specs, like the Gigabyte M32U and the LG 32GR93UB. And even though you could also get it in a 27-inch screen, that's a different model, so this review is only valid for the 32-inch version. And oh yeah, don't get it confused with the Odyssey Neo G7, that's a completely different monitor. So, how does this 32-inch G70D perform, and is it worth getting? We'll start with the basic stuff, the design. It's pretty simple, there's nothing that really stands out, but that might be a good thing for some people. It's well made, and the plastic casing feels good. It also has a ring of RGB lighting on the back to complement your gaming setup. Even the stand is very easy to adjust when you want to place it how you like. There's a simple clip to help keep your cables organized too. Plus, the base is metal and holds the screen well enough, without much wobble. While there are buttons underneath the bezel to change settings, this monitor also comes with a remote. Why exactly? Well, it's because it has Tizen SmartOS built in, so you can watch content without using your PC, kind of making it a small TV. It has a few features like picture-in-picture and picture-by-picture that you could use between sources or with the built-in apps. But you need to be signed into a Samsung account for it to work. Because of course. Besides that, it comes with Bluetooth support, which is a nice touch for a monitor. You could connect your Bluetooth headphones to it, and even use them with external sources. It also comes with an Ethernet port to connect to the internet. There isn't much else in terms of inputs though, just your standard stuff. A small USB hub, a DisplayPort 1.4 input, and 2 HDMI ports. They each support 2.1 bandwidth, and one of them serves as an ARC port to pass audio to a soundbar or receiver. Another reason why it's like a small TV. Unfortunately, its picture quality is pretty far off from most TVs. This is because it has a low native contrast ratio, so blacks look gray. There's even noticeable backlight bleed in dark scenes, so it's really not something to use for watching content in dark rooms. And even though it has a local dimming feature, it's terrible. It's edge lit with 32 zones, so any bright object causes entire zones to light up, resulting in awful blooming. This is pretty distracting if you have subtitles on too. But most content causes all the zones to stay on, which means the local dimming isn't actually doing much. Simply put, the feature doesn't improve the picture quality, and you might want to avoid using it if you find it distracting. But while the picture quality is bad in dark rooms, the monitor is better to use in most bright rooms. Sure, reflections are distracting in a sunny room, but it's still bright enough to fight most glare in SDR and HDR. It just doesn't make small highlights pop in HDR. And even though it displays a wide range of colors in the DCI-P3 color space, it has more limited coverage of the wider Rec 2020 color space. Plus, it fails to display very dark and very bright colors well, so it can't deliver an impactful HDR experience. Colors are better in SDR though. It's accurate enough before calibration, but it doesn't have a dedicated sRGB mode. Instead, you have to set the color space setting to auto for it to lock colors to the sRGB color space. Even this isn't perfect though, because some colors are oversaturated. It also has some white balance issues and the gamma tracking is off, meaning most scenes are darker than they should be. Calibrating it fixes these problems, except for the oversaturation. We calibrated it with the color space setting on native instead, which has even more oversaturated colors. So while this monitor isn't ideal to use if you're a content creator, it's still fantastic for just everyday office work. Text looks sharp thanks to its high pixel density, and there's plenty of screen space to work with. Plus, it has wide enough viewing angles that your boss will be able to see all the great work you're putting into those spreadsheets. But you're likely not looking to buy this monitor for office work, are you? It's a gaming monitor, so of course we gotta talk about that. For starters, it has a 144Hz refresh rate that you could reach over DisplayPort or HDMI. But remember that your graphics card needs to use compression for that with DisplayPort. Besides that, the monitor also supports any common VRR format to reduce screen tearing. And for the most part, motion looks sharp across its VRR range. It looks the best at high refresh rates, but there's more inverse ghosting at low refresh rates. You can choose from 3 response time overdrive settings, but the basic standard setting performs the best, as faster and extreme have too much overshoot at any refresh rate. And sadly, this monitor doesn't have a backlight strobing feature to reduce persistence blur. On the plus side, it doesn't have any distracting VRR flicker with changing frame rates. It also has very low input lag at any refresh rate, so gaming feels responsive. This is great to know if you game at low refresh rates, like on consoles. Speaking of which, it supports any signal with a PS5 or Xbox. You just need to make sure you have game mode enabled on the monitor for everything to work properly. Doesn't this all sound like pretty standard stuff for gaming? That's because it is. It's a good gaming monitor, sure, but there's nothing that truly stands out about it. And that's what you have to consider when comparing it to the competition. Take the LG 32GR93UB, which is something that competes directly with the Samsung and costs around the same. It's actually pretty similar with limited picture quality and a focus on gaming. But when you get down to the nitty-gritty, the LG pulls ahead because it has better motion handling with less overshoot at low refresh rates. It also has a bit lower input lag, which is really a minor detail, but still something to consider. Even another option like the Gigabyte M32U is similar for the most part, and it has extra features like a USB-C port and a KVM switch, making it more versatile for productivity. Even though the Gigabyte is hard to find now, it just goes to show that the G70D lacks a few perks its competitors have. Of course, if you want something with better picture quality than the Samsung, you'd have to look elsewhere. The Acer Nitro XV275K is a 4K 27-inch monitor that uses mini LED backlighting. It has a better local dimming feature, so blacks are deeper, and highlights pop more in HDR. If you care about picture quality and you aren't willing to upgrade to an OLED, this is the next best option. Just keep in mind that it has a smaller screen than the Samsung. And that brings us back to our main question. Is the Samsung G70D worth getting? For the most part, it's really not worth getting. It just doesn't offer a ton of value against the competition, and it's not cheap either. But at the same time, if you're looking at this monitor on its own, then it has almost anything you need in a 4K gaming monitor. Sharp motion, low input lag, a 144Hz refresh rate. As long as you're willing to sacrifice picture quality, it's good for what it offers. Plus, the built-in smart system can be useful if you want to use the monitor like a small TV. So if you're looking for a 32-inch 4K IPS gaming monitor, and this is the cheapest one you can find in your region, then yes, it's worth getting. That's all for the Samsung Odyssey G70D. If you want more details, check out our written review. The link is in the description below. Until next time, I'm Nicholas from Ratings.com, where we help you find the best product for your needs. Ciao.